A wandering samurai fell in love with a woman from a brothel. Many people thought their story was romantic, but the truth was, for a samurai who couldn't draw his sword, this was his most fatal flaw. Their first meeting was on a rainy bridge. Jin walked up to Shino and started a conversation. He said the river was shallow, and if someone wanted to jump in and commit suicide, they should pick a different river. Shino found this comment amusing. She wasn't thinking of suicide, but her expression was sad, as if she herself wasn't sure whether what she said was true. Because it was raining, they stayed in the small town for a while. Jin, trying to make a living, went around looking for work. He ended up grilling eel on the street, and seeing that there were no customers because of the rain, the shop owner asked Jin to watch the shop. Now Jin was running the shop by himself, and soon he had his first customer. It was Shino, the same woman he had met on the bridge. She ordered a portion of eel, and although Jin was skilled with a sword, he had no experience grilling eel. This embarrassed him in front of Shino. Seeing his clumsy efforts, Shino decided to take over and grill the eel herself. It was her gentle nature and unique charm that made Jin develop a fondness for her. Their roles shifted, with Jin unable to do much. From grilling fish to attracting customers, it was all Shino's work, day after day. They worked from morning until night. Only then did Shino remember she was still a customer. Jin, determined to make it up to her, decided to grill an eel himself for her, but when he finished, it looked terrible. Shino pretended it was awful, but secretly, she ate all of it. Before leaving, Shino thanked Jin for creating her last beautiful memory. From the next day, she would be sold to a brothel by her husband to pay off their debt. The next day, Jin came to where Shino worked. He returned the umbrella she had left behind the night before, but Shino didn't take it back. Instead, she handed it back to him, telling him that she would never be able to leave this place in her lifetime. Just then, a customer called for Shino, and she was about to go, but Jin had one more thing to say. Shino turned back to him, and Jin still didn't know her name. She replied that her name didn't matter anymore. She then asked Jin for his name, and Jin immediately told her. Shino thanked him. Meanwhile, a group of people was watching a stag beetle fight, betting on who would win. To everyone's surprise, Mugen, who had never won before, won this time, making a lot of money. In the following days, it rained continuously, and Jin came by the brothel every day, holding the umbrella Shino had given him. But for Shino, Jin's visits weren't helping her work, as he came only to chat and not to spend money. She told him not to come again. The brothel's owner came over and asked Jin if he had picked a woman, but Jin said he didn't have any money. The owner then called in his thugs, telling Jin they weren't running a business for poor samurai to just look at women. Although Jin was skilled in combat, he had no reason to draw his sword this time. He let them kick and beat him. They thought Jin was just an eyesore. After being beaten, Jin walked alone down the street, unable to save Shino. He felt miserable and wounded, and when he returned to his lodging, he saw the gold coins in Mugen's hand and immediately decided to borrow them. With money, things were different. The owner immediately lowered his head when he saw Jin with money. Even though Jin spent a lot of money, his goal was only to sit and chat with Shino. As a traveler, Jin would leave the town once the rain stopped, but now he hoped the rain wouldn't end. His words made Shino happy, and their bond grew stronger. Jin wanted to take Shino away, but Shino refused. For her, this was just a fleeting fairy tale.